Hey, good afternoon, Linda.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing
I'm good. I'm
on this
good.
Sunday? I guess it's evening. Well, it's kind of afternoon for you, isn't it?
Yeah, it's late afternoon. It's 4:02.
Out in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's been a while since you and I chatted, and we thought it
Yeah.
was time to. We made a goal to at least put out four of our Lumission series this summer, didn't we? Four
We
to
did.
six. So we're going to jump on it right now. And I kicked around an idea. Maybe something happened recently that made me think of this again. But today's topic is going to be: are you able and willing to make a decision in life, really? It could be simple, it could be large, but if you feel like in your spirit and soul that it's the right decision at that moment in time, do you have the wherewithal to actually go ahead and make that decision? Because I think, Linda, we discussed it. Some people just aren't able to do that.
Hmm.
We come across a lot of people that they tend to, I think the term was like kick the can down the road, just let someone else deal with it. Well,
Hmm.
you and I are both basically A-type personalities,
Oh yeah.
but not but we don't like confrontation either. But we will make a decision in order to proceed to our next destination, if you will.
Hmm.
I don't like things. I don't know if you're the same way. I don't like things lingering.
No.
So I'll do things pretty much on the spot. It's be like, you didn't have to do that just now. Well, I did because I want to move on to something else and put that subject behind me. I don't know. It's just crazy to me how some individuals are able to just let it kind of roll. And
Hmm.
just let's face it. Sometimes it will just go away. But are you? It's like, oh, I guess that person took care of that problem. If it, sometimes they're kind of bigger issues too. So it's somewhat mind-boggling to me at times. But I wanted to get your take on that, and I think it's important to be able, especially younger generations, to be able to stand on their opinions at times, and if they feel like it's the right move to make, decision to make at that moment in time, go with your go with your gut, trust it, and do it. How do you feel about that?
Well, I think you've said a lot of really good things. I was when you first brought the topic up the other night, I thought, oh wow, because I was so reactionary in my younger years.
Hmm.
And so I'll just kind of give you an idea. I probably didn't think real well before I acted, but I made a decision. So I
Yeah,
made money when I was in high school babysitting. I did a lot of it, and actually that was how I kind of got whatever I needed,
yeah,
and
or what you
I'm kind
wanted,
of
what you wanted
what I
at that
wanted.
time,
So I'm
probably.
I'm kind of I'm kind of laughing at this because it wasn't funny at the time, but at the time I was driving, but a lot of times whoever wanted me to babysit would pick me up,
Hmm.
because it would
Hmm.
depend on how long I was going to babysit. And
Sure.
so one of the coaches at my high school, okay, he came and picked me up, and I'd babysit for them babysit several times. But one day in school, I don't know, he said something to me that I thought it didn't hit me well. Do you know what
Didn't
I'm
sound right,
saying?
huh? Yeah.
Did not sound right, didn't hit me well. And I came back at him like nobody's business. And I thought, oh
You
my
come out
God,
guns. You come out guns a blazing on him.
I I did. And so when
Dang.
I thought, okay, well, I've already done it now, and I don't know where this is going to go, but I do have an opinion on it if somebody does, if it goes
Oh
very
yes.
far. But he kind of took a step back and was really in shock. And I didn't apologize, and I just I left it with what I'd said and after the way it was, and then made a decision not to babysit anymore.
Yeah. I
You
mean that
know,
that that and that was another decision.
yeah, two decisions at once, and
It
then
was.
not really knowing, it could have ended up really bad. But I also think when I look back on it now, because I was scared, it came out. I mean, I said exactly what I wanted to say and how I wanted to say it.
Uh-oh.
But
Linda
I
was on one.
I think he also there must have been, I think he knew, you know.
Yeah, and I've done that too at a younger age. That were I guess, reactionary, but it maybe it had been festering, and say I felt so strong about something, and I had no problems. Not I always respected adults, but if I thought an adult was wrong, I'll let that person know as well, And
Hmm.
I think that when first time I did that, they were a little bit shocked because I don't like to really rock the boat and be confrontational, but I will stand up for what I believe is right, you know.
I don't like to seek it out. You know
Not at
what I'm
all.
saying? Because I've learned over the years now that I'm really a peacemaker, or I try to be, and
Correct.
you know, I really work hard at that. But at the same time, you get into situations where if you don't say what you mean, you know, it can really affect a lot of the relationships ongoing. That
I,
that kind of
I,
thing.
I agree. And I've always been somewhat guilty of maybe sugarcoating situations, and because I just didn't want to upset that person. I have a tendency to maybe massage the message. Well, you know, with more experience and the older I get,
With
I
wisdom.
let's cut to the chase. Here it is. And what you do find is, and it might ruffle some feathers, okay?
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah.
I've come to grips to not be concerned about that because actually I felt when I was doing more of the sugarcoating, I didn't really gain much from that at all. But when I
Yeah.
stand on something and I make my point and my case, okay, maybe this person doesn't agree with it, might be a little upset about it, but I felt strong about it enough to be vocal about it, right? And you
Hmm.
got to respect that, opposed to not really taking a stance one way or the other. I've been guilty in the past, and I've just learned of it that doesn't really get, just in general, just for the audience, it doesn't get you very far, actually.
Well, I'll tell you the first time, I've always done well in all my jobs. I've said I know before on a podcast that my principals found me very intense, but they liked my
Respect you,
work. You know what I'm saying? But
100%.
I don't like, and I had to explain I don't like being like this. I'm sorry. Um, but there was a situation. I took myself um, to California to follow. I was following at that time, really starting a lot of my energy work, and I had been working for Herbalife, and so I brought myself out to California to work for this guru who was
Hmm.
really big at that time, and so it wasn't easy work, because you're getting ready for events, you're doing all those kinds of things, and it took a lot of planning and da 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 da. But there were some things that really were bothering me because it's one thing when you're trying to push yourself to find your potential. Does that make
Oh,
sense?
oh, of
Like,
course.
and I'll
Of
give you an
course.
example. You're going to break a board with your hand, right?
Yes.
Okay. I can never break the damn board. I'm just letting you know that. But
I couldn't either.
I could push
I could
energy
kick
in
it
a
though.
I could push energy in a different way. You know what I'm saying? And
Sure.
so we would go on these. It was always an event that you're in places like Vegas or San Diego or in the desert, whatever, and you're pushing yourself beyond limits kind of thing. And so it was really bothering me because I kind of have this little switch that tells me, mm, this doesn't feel right.
Hmm.
Someone's going to
It
get
don't
hurt,
feel
or
right.
because and when you're with a group, that group pressure, if you think about stoning in the Middle Ages, the stoning kind of thing,
Yeah, that's a good point
that's
there.
that's that mob mentality. You know what I'm saying?
Or
And
like the
so I
what's the
found,
other one? The Scarlet Letter. The
yeah,
Scarlet Letter. You
exact
shamed you. Yeah.
shamed. and
Hmm.
and I was watching people that would come and pay major money for all this, and a lot of them I could tell wouldn't be able to go against
Brain.
the grain.
Hmm.
So one day before the next event, I
Yeah.
was asked a question, and I basically said what I thought. Well, within an hour, I had all my stuff packed and out of there. It was
Run.
wasn't didn't you didn't want didn't want to listen, blah blah blah. And the sad part is, the next year I read in the paper that there were deaths.
Oh man.
And so, but I thought first time I've ever been fired from a job
Yeah.
or asked,
Yeah.
asked to, and it's not funny.
Well, it kind of is
But
now.
I don't
Looking
know.
back on it.
Well, looking back
Not the
on it,
death part.
no, but at the time
I didn't see that coming, by the way. I'm like, whoa,
it,
okay.
it was really, it was something really tough to do, it really was. And I meant it, and I was hoping it would be taken in the best way possible.
Hmm.
But, you know, again, it's just one of those things. So,
Well,
and then
here's,
and then sometimes you have things that happen around you and you're not aware of it, and that's really makes me ill. No,
mm,
when I find out about it, makes me ill because it's like, where was my radar then?
correct. Well,
So I,
don't you think of that you weren't in tune to it at that time?
yeah, there
You
were
know,
just,
it
there's
wasn't
things in my life,
registering.
and there were things in my life that I find out later that happened that should never have happened, and all that, and it makes me sick to my stomach, and I think what was happening around me, that it clouded all my intuition,
Yeah.
that clouded all my gut
Well, it was
responses.
probably negative energy around you, and which creates stress, right? So
No, yeah, stress does, it
it's
affects
gonna.
me. It
Me
affects
too.
me a lot when I'm under a lot of stress. I don't have one creative thought. All my design that I love to do.
Well, that's a good
I
point.
think I
That's
texted you the other day and I said, "Hey, I can't do that illumination. I can't think of anything right now."
yeah, yeah, yep.
It-
And I've been there too. But you make a good point. Be cautious also when you are under duress or stress in making, let's just call them larger decisions, right?
yeah, big ones.
Because I've done that and it's bit me in the behind a few times. But I would recommend make sure if you're say making a job change or something bigger than that, try to be as calm and reserved and emotionless as you can before you make a decision. Because otherwise, it does get clouded, and then you wake up next to like, what did I do yesterday, right? You
Well,
know,
and something else that I'd like the audience to know that I've learned is sometimes when you're making those big decisions, we all have the power within us, to know right from wrong or what's good or what's not for us. Sometimes
that's
we
right.
talk it to death with other people. We share
Mm-hmm.
so much of what we're thinking
Mm-hmm.
with other people, and then we're going to get their opinions, but their opinions may be based on their life patterns or their belief system somewhere along the way that they're not moving through. Does that make sense? And it's going
It
to
does.
cloud what they're telling you. So truthfully, what I've learned over the years is I don't share much openly with a lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm. Same.
I'm ultimately responsible for my decision. I'm ultimately responsible for me and anyone I'm caring for, working for, whatever. But I have found that when you share too much, you're not getting the answers that I feel like are coming from the best of place for you.
I agree. And these days, I really only give my opinion on things when somebody asks me. And usually, they have to ask me more than once, to make sure, like, you really want my opinion on that? You've been in a situation where you're in conversations and you, we want to chime in, but you think to yourself, well, I mean, I'll make sure they're okay with what I'm about to say because sometimes it can be strong in that environment. But if they really ask me, hey, what do you think about this, Linda? Are you guys sure you want my opinion? And then
Mm-hmm,
when you say your opinion, I recommend, and this is my big point, be accountable for what you say. If it does
mm-hmm,
upset someone, I have learned this, and there's been times where, let's say, it wasn't even all on me, for example, but if I went to say a superior or a boss, or and you get called to the office, okay, what happened? Like, there's a problem. What happened here? And he knows it's not possible I can be accountable for all of it. I took accountability for it. What can you say? Hey,
mm-hmm,
it's on me, man.
mm-hmm,
And I recall the situation where, like, Lenny, that's not possible. It can't all be on you. I said, well, I own it. It's my account, and I want to do something right here. And you know what
mm-hmm,
that does, guys? You gain respect
mm-hmm.
because so many people will try to pass the buck or blame others. So just be accountable for it. You can't go wrong in my experience. You really can't.
Yeah.
You start blaming others and not being accountable, man, that's when your credibility really goes down. Would you agree with that, Linda?
Oh, especially if you're in a leadership position,
Mm-hmm.
or in a
Mm-hmm.
position where you're in charge. One of the things that I've always taken to heart is that when I, as a leader or a director, or all those positions that I've had where I was over people, was to care about and listen to the people underneath me.
Yep.
I have a term I use when I'm working with anybody in a let's say an educational environment. I have a term I use called skills and wills.
Mm,
I'm here. If you don't quite have the skill you need at this point, I'm here to help you get it. You know, but that's your choice if you want to do that.
you're gonna have to seek me out.
You
You know.
have to say I need it, or I'm recognizing, or I let you know it's an issue. But then everyone has free will.
That's right. That's
So
absolutely
if it
correct.
comes down to a will you or won't you, then it's a no-brainer for me at that point. Do you know
I
what I'm
agree.
saying?
I agree. And when you're dealing with let's call it conflict resolutions, and there's also I think a good point for I keep saying younger people, but I guess when there's certain terminology you can use when you're dealing with uh, somebody maybe difficult, and you just like in through what I like to use in that situation is here's the phrase. You ready for this, Linda?
Mm-hmm.
Help me understand. You know what that does? It takes onus off of you.
Mm-hmm.
They have to answer the question. It's not aggressive, okay? And you're seeking their guidance, but you're wanting a resolution to the issue you're having. I learned that in a book I used to read. It's called The Servant Leader. Good book, and it does work. Even if you just
Mm-hmm.
write an email to say a coach or a teacher or whoever, there's a problem here, and they're just not responding to you, or they're an aggressive person. Throw that one out there, guys. See what happens. You know, and if
Mm-hmm.
they still refuse to respond, then they're probably just not a very good person, unfortunately. But
Well, they're making a
that's a good
choice.
phrase. That's right.
They're making
And
a
then
choice
and
at
then
that
you and
point.
you and you still got your answer.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not going to help me understand, then what's your problem, man?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a good one. Keep that in mind, guys. It's worked itself for me quite a few times actually. Opposed to coming at somebody directly and
Uh-huh.
pointing fingers. Put it back on yourself. But you're actually the way it's phrased, it makes them basically have to respond to you and answer that guidance question, really what it is.
Well, and then another thing to kind of add on to that, the beauty of that and the extension of that is I'm always paying attention to what they don't say,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because there's
But
always an underlining when people are speaking to you, or they're sharing something with you, or you're in a leadership position, there's always a method of an underlying current about what's not said. And sometimes
no
that's pretty
doubt.
powerful.
Yeah, isn't it like silence is golden in both
Hmm.
ways? You
Yeah.
know, no response sometimes, or sometimes a lack of response could be a good thing too.
Hmm.
You have to be aware of who you're dealing with,
Hmm.
and we mentioned earlier, make sure if the audience, read that room, make sure hey this person they roll that way, they just don't respond. They
Hmm.
for whatever reason. Typically, people that don't respond is they don't want to be accountable for what they actually say. Then they say, well, I'm covering my back because if I actually say what I want to say, I could maybe ruin this relationship, etc. Right?
Hmm.
I'm a I'm a firm believer in being accountable. Speak your mind, and if you feel like you're right and just, let it go. You know,
Yeah.
life's too short not to speak your mind these days, in my opinion,
Well, and
as we know.
and life's too short not to move in a direction that you want to move into. And, you listen to all the naysayers, and then it stops you short, you
Hmm.
know. And
Hmm.
and the reality of it is, best down deep what's best for you,
Correct.
No one else knows what's best for you because they don't walk in your shoes.
Nope.
And that old motto, of walking in someone else's shoes. And so I think I think that when you just take time for the silence, bring yourself some silence to where you're doing some just internal sitting and listening, I think you'll always know what's right for you.
That's great advice.
And then be brave
Yep.
and move towards it, even if you have to do it in micro steps or many
Yeah.
little, moments. Um, and
That's a
then
good
the
point.
other,
Some people have a very hard time with that. If you're a big time introvert, you just, I mean, or you have
it's
fear of like
hard.
speaking, that can be very tough.
It's
But
hard.
there are little tricks you got to work on it, because sometimes you might get kind of run over if you don't, speak your
Mhm.
mind on a certain topic or subject or something that took place any given day, really.
Yeah.
But it's important, guys. I think it's very key. That's why we thought about it, to get it out there, Linda.
Hmm. Well,
Not that
I don't,
it
right after you first said something, I was kind of doing what I always call my little analysis, my life analysis of from way back here to here and here. And I'm thinking, oh, there were several times, several,
there were several
several,
times this week that I
several. Oh my
had to
God.
I had to make a decision that
How did they end
wasn't
up?
easy. It wasn't easy. Yeah, time will tell on mine. Actually, we'll see. But no, I mean, I just
Yeah.
I know that I'm being truthful and honest. So really, if they can't accept reality at times, and something that will have a positive outcome at some point, maybe those aren't people anyways. You know,
Well, absolutely. And I
and
this
that's
phrase
okay.
that well, it is okay, because not everybody is for everybody, that's how it is. And I learned a long time ago that I have to walk to my own drummer, and I have to, and I guess if I'm not liked, I'm not liked, and whatever. And it's the way it is. And but I think just, you know, find your first of all, you have to know really what you want, you
Hmm.
know. When we talk about big decisions, you have to know, what do you really want? What are you willing to do to get it? And how do you want to go about it? And it really comes down to that, because it's about you. And I don't care if you're married or in a relationship, or your parents are yayan or whatever. I don't care. This is about you, because nobody is you. I don't care how old you are. Nobody's you.
No,
And
even
so I think, you know, and
yeah,
it's because nobody really knows what you want.
unless you speak your mind, and
Yeah.
I think we're referring to also, guys. We're not just talking about just things, a particular outcome you might want in a situation, right, Linda?
Yeah,
That's what
right.
kind of that's what we're alluding to, and if you don't let these people know what you'd like this outcome to be, then how they can't read your mind.
Well, and then when you talk about outcome, one of the things that I think can really affect, when we hold on too tight to an outcome that we want in our mind, it doesn't leave any room for the universe to provide for us.
Mm, hmm.
It creates a dissonance, because we're holding on so tight, there's no space for anything else to enter. And
That's a great point.
sometimes the universe and the divine know better, because they can see this wide picture. So I just ask that, while we do all have an expected outcome about something, I mean, I'm no different than anybody else. I have to remind myself that if I keep holding on to this so tight, is it really going to happen?
So what
Because
you're
maybe
saying,
there's something better.
so what I think what you're saying is that you need to remain flexible and not be
Yeah.
rigid on a particular
Hmm.
outcome that you've got your heart mind set
Heart,
on, right?
heart and mind, right?
Because you're right, that may not be in your plans right now.
No, it may be later. See, it may be that right at this moment, your soul can't handle it right yet. You're still
Hmm.
evolving and still
Hmm.
growing. And so it may be that you've got to release some things, clear some things. It doesn't mean it won't happen. It just may not be in our timeline. And
That,
that's
that
and
is
I, and I
profound.
and I'm the first to say I've always had trouble with patience. I'm a restless, energy is what it always was. I have found as I've done all this work, though, I have more peace and I'm not as restless. You know what I'm
Of
saying?
course. Oh, no
I
doubt.
mean, but I'm still a work in progress. Don't think I'm not, you know.
No, and you're right. I mean, we always, I know there's some, we do remain busy. We like to be doing it all the time. But that doesn't mean we're not restless. We like to be involved with things and create things and get things done, right? And so
Yeah, I'm a doer. Yeah.
that creates a busy lifestyle,
Hmm.
but there are times where you do have to just kind of take a step back. I like that point about, yeah, the universe made up of your time, so you have to remain flexible at all times.
Hmm.
That's called adaptability, and that's a very strong skill set. If you can adapt to almost any environment, you'll be very successful in life
I
because that's
think
all it
so.
is. It's a game of adaptability, is what it is. Because
Well, and,
changes happen all the time.
all the time, and and I'm around. So let's just talk about my generation of people, and it's something as simple as going to fitness. And I look at some of them that are even younger than me,
Hmm.
right? And then there's quite a few older, but I wouldn't even go on a bus trip with any of them because they're so rude. It's like, you must have been this way when you were young.
Yeah.
We're supposed to stand in line, wait for things, how bus trips, you know what I'm saying? And oh
Oh
my
yeah.
gosh, they're complaining and they're carrying on. And I'm thinking, okay, these kind of things aren't for me.
No,
I don't want that.
no.
I don't want that energy around me, you know.
Well,
And
no
it's
offense.
embarrassing
That's that
besides.
that's that boomer generation, man. Some of those people are like,
Oh, and I'm
it's them
embarrassed.
and it's only. I know it's their world, man. We just living in it. I'm like, say what? It's
No respect for younger
yeah,
generations, no
let someone else have
respect for other people. And it's
let
like,
someone else have a chance at this thing, man.
and
Oh, it's
something is
crazy.
so here's just a simple little thing. They changed the app, right? That we have to log into our classes 72 hours before that we want to take fitness. You've never seen so many people that can't find a way around a phone and haven't learned, and we're in a digital age, right?
Or they
I
freak
don't
out.
care how old you are. Why
Yeah,
are you not learning something
it,
new? Go to
it,
your grandkids and figure it out if you don't know.
oh, it's like
But I
DEF
mean,
CON 1.
it's embarrassing. And
It
I'm just
is.
thinking,
It is.
oh, so to all of you that are the younger generation, oh, please, when you get to be my age, and don't be like so many of this
No,
era, because that's
exactly.
embarrassing. It
You know,
really is. I've
learn
had several
from,
people say, don't you want to go on these trips? No, I do not. No,
no, I'm good,
mm-mm.
but y'all have fun.
Whatever that is.
Enjoy it.
No.
Yeah, boomers.
Mm.
Yeah, no, it's wild generation for sure. And yeah, hopefully these other generations kind of learn like we don't want to be that way when we become, in our 60s. I mean, I hope not, but and I think we will because we've had so many different events take place in our life
Hmm.
that maybe I'm not gonna say it's different, but there it is. We technology and everything else. It's just a little bit different, I think you
Oh,
can
yeah.
agree with that. So I just make fun of them sometimes. It's been a popular subject too, with even social media and stuff. Everybody's
Oh, I
come
know.
because
It's
and my parents saying, I'm like, man, they'll freak out. Hey, man, TV's broke. I'm like, broke? It's brand new. I thought. Come take a look at it. And so I do because that's what I do. And it's just need to be rebooted or something like that. Like we've done this about 10 times now, but I don't say anything. I just hey, Linda, I just do it and then get
well,
out.
that's sweet of you.
Oh yeah.
It's just, I don't
Oh
know.
man,
It's embarrassing. I mean,
it's
I'm
fun.
embarrassed.
It's funny
It's
though.
terrible. So,
But set in your ways.
so there's
Most
one of my
people are.
major decisions. I ain't doing it.
You ain't doing it.
Not
That's
going
a
on
big
those
one.
bus trips.
Nope.
I ain't doing it. I'm not putting myself around that negative
You
energy
you
and
will
that.
you will not be accountable for their actions on a bus trip. Am I
But I
right?
can guarantee you, when they were
Oh
my
man.
grandkids' ages, they were bullies, or that, you know what I
Mm,
mean? There
hmm.
was, yeah,
Yeah, we've all been around
patterns
them.
don't change too much.
It's almost like they just think the world revolves around, and
Hmm.
so that's fine. Keep
Yeah.
thinking that.
To each his own.
That's right. So, well, Linda, I mean, I think it was a good little show. Great topics.
Well, yeah, I
Um,
think it's when you first brought it up, I thought, oh, and then I was laying in bed and I'm thinking all this stuff is rolling through me, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, I did make that decision, or oh yeah,
yeah. When you
I
start thinking,
did change some trajectory, and
you get thinking something like, well, this is what I did this morning. Yeah, it's top of mind for me too that particular day, and like let's talk about this, And so I'm glad we did, and hope you all got
right,
something out of it. I know me and Linda feel like it's pertinent information, and just keep in mind, stand for what you believe in. Number one, and don't be afraid to maybe possibly rock that boat on occasion.
and just sit
Just
with
be
yourself.
accountable.
Yeah,
That's
and
it.
sit with yourself
That's it.
and really see what you're feeling, because you'll sense it, I think, when you
Hmm.
know it's right. Just feel it. And if it's something you need, then what are your next steps? Who do you need to talk to your spouse? Do you need to talk to who do you need to
Yeah.
talk to that
Yeah.
you can really help them understand what you're needing?
Yeah. Don't make an irrational decision
Right,
based off
right.
emotion, because that's when bad things usually happen.
Yeah, it
You know,
is.
not always major, but even minor. Like if you have a setback, and just because you were in an emotional state, you decided
Hmm.
to go with option X, and it should have been option Z. you know,
We've all
so
been
keep that
there.
in mind. Absolutely,
Yeah.
we're only saying because we've done it more than
Yeah.
once.
Yep.
So, all right, Linda. Well, thank you so
Well,
much.
thank you too. I appreciate it.
Have a great week, guys.
Bye.
See ya.